Welcome to the Core Cultivation Podcast, where we break down the moves that matter most for your mental and physical well being. I'm Marcia, your wellness architect with a mic, a mat, and a mission, and this is where coaching meets real life so you can commit, own, rest, and reflect, and engage your way to better health. Before we get started, please remember the information shared here is for educational purposes only and is not for formal medical or mental health advice. Always follow the guidance of your licensed healthcare provider. If you're in crisis, please dial 988 or go to your nearest emergency room. By listening, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own mental and physical well-being, and you release PsyCore Fitness, me, and any affiliates from any and all liability. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to season 3 of the Core Cultivation Podcast. I'm Marcia, and I'm glad to have you all back with me as we kick off season 3. So, today's episode is personal, and I guess really they're all personal, but recently I've just had a number of family members, friends, and people in my circle dealing with different medical conditions and sudden medical challenges. So, whether it is an episode of some sort, symptoms of something, or major diagnoses, in some cases requiring major intervention, and including my own, what feels like now minor perimenopause symptoms, but all of these different medical situations that have come up, and it got me thinking. We've all been living in our bodies as long as we've been alive, so we think we know them. And I'm telling people all the time in my fitness classes, listen to your body, do what it says is okay to do. You've been living in it, I haven't. But we believe we know what our bodies can do and what they can't, but do we really? I mean, for the most part, that's true until it isn't. The reality is that your body can change in an instant. And when it does, it can really feel like a betrayal. And that's the hardest part, recognizing and honoring that change, the idea of actually honoring the change that your body does. That's what we're getting into today. It's a unique space, but we're looking at how the body can betray you. And we're going to unpack the emotions that go along with that, the grieving process, the roller coaster, and look at what interventions might be helpful for you as you navigate that process. And the truth of the matter is we all are going to experience this betrayal at some point in time or another, because our bodies are temporary, they are frail, and they are prone to just tire out. They can only do so much. And so, if it's no other reason than simple aging, we are all going to experience this betrayal in some way or another. So, that's what we're getting into today, and how we can work through that, and looking at the concept of medical fitness being an opportunity to bring you forward and through some of those challenges. So, first, let's just go on and talk about the emotional roller coaster that comes along with when our body stops doing what we think it's going to do, or as I say, our body decides to do something or not do something without talking to us about it first. It just made a decision that, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore, or it's going to have to be done differently. What you thought you could do, or what you used to be able to do in the way that you used to do it, doesn't happen anymore, won't work anymore. Grief isn't just about death, it's not about losing an actual life all the time, although that is very real and significant. And many times it's about any type of loss. Any type of loss, whether we have lost our job and our sense of identity there. But today, obviously, we're talking about the idea of losing our physical health, well being, our predictability, expectations that we have of what our body can and can't do. And when our body decides it's going in a different direction, that's a loss. That's a major blow. because we move about with the expectation that it's going to be there always, doing what it needs to do, and losing that ability, losing that predictability, and the sense of identity that we do get from our bodies. Now, I'm not going to spend time going into the physical appearance that some and the value that some of us might place on our bodies and how we appear and all of that. That's more of a separate type of topic. The type of confidence and esteem that you get, whether it's simply being able to walk, to do the things that you need to do, take care of your daily living activities. And when that physical ability is taken from you or impaired or injured, how does that trigger that grieving experience and process? So, first of all, obviously, there is a sense of like, say, what now? Huh? How is this happening to me? Why didn't anybody tell me? I think this sentiment I hear a lot from women, and also chime in as they talk about menopause and perimenopause symptoms. And so when you feel like your abilities have been limited or taken away, then consequently you're going to feel some frustration at times. Frustration that this has happened to you. There's going to be some anger and frustration at the limitation, at yourself. From my experiences dealing with perimenopause and the mind mush that I sometimes feel, the frustration at not being able to do the things that I wanted to do and being as productive as I wanted to be or had expectations to be. And so then that leads to a sense of, well, I can't do what I used to do. There's that loss, the sadness, the mourning that, okay, I don't have those abilities anymore. I'm not going to be able to accomplish maybe the goals that I had set, the plans that I have, which naturally leads into questions about your future, which then triggers feelings of fear and anxiety. So if I can't get these things done, if I'm not able to complete these activities for myself, what does that mean as far as my care? Am I going to be able to live independently? Am I going to be able to do the things that I need to do? Who's going to help me? So it can really, especially when you start again looking into the future, that is a great playground for anxiety and fear to build. But that is a natural part of the emotional roller coaster that comes when we are grieving the body's changes. Then there's also shame. How are others going to be looking at me now that I have been diagnosed with XYZ? Or that physically I appear that I cannot walk independently anymore? What are they going to say? How am I going to be perceived? Are people going to be oversensitive? Like, how is it going to change how people perceive me and how I am going to be treated by others? What kind of labels are going to be placed on me? Are there going to be other limitations and things that I'm going to miss out on because of how others perceive me and my abilities? All of these different emotions roller coastering around and in no particular order and bouncing around every which way. Sometimes you're okay, sometimes you're not so okay. But when we don't deal with the emotions, ignoring the problem does not make them go away. You might respond in such a way that it ends up aggravating the situation. So let's say you are dealing with some of these difficult emotions, and your way of responding is, you know what? It's just easier for me to avoid people because I don't want to see that look in their eyes when they greet me, a pity or feeling sad or trying to do too much for me when I can do it myself. Or I just don't want anybody to see me like this. Maybe it is a physical change and I really don't want anyone to see me like this. I'm not ready to be seen this way. Then maybe there's the other side of it. Instead of isolating, maybe you are doing everything and you are overcompensating and deciding I'm just going to push through it, pushing through the pain, and maybe ignoring some of the symptoms, maybe ignoring some of the signs and red flags that say, hey, the body's changing, it needs different things. Then there's not necessarily the isolation, but taking a defeatist mindset. It is what it is. There isn't anything I can do to change it. And granted, there may be some truth to it, but this defeatist mindset is kind of a hopelessness with that perspective. Then, of course, there's the idea of avoiding everything altogether, overeating. Maybe you are choosing to numb things by drinking or zoning out. We know that there's some habits that are not going to be so healthy or helpful to the situation. Whatever the method is just different ways of numbing and tuning out the reality of the situation. And in fact, only creates a new set of problems because now we're using unhealthy coping tools that are likely creating more problems. So then, where do we go from this point? What can you do to respond when your body betrays you? And so, before I get to this, I guess I want to pose a challenge or a question. If you go to your doctor about this symptom, condition, betrayal, whatever it might be, if your doctor had to write you a prescription today, which would you prefer them write? A prescription for movement or a prescription for medication? Now, before you answer, it seems like what would seem like an obvious answer. And I say this because I hear people all the time say, I don't want to take medication. I'd rather not take any pills. I really don't want to take anything. I'd rather do it a different way. That's what people say. But on the other hand, I also see people get an opportunity to intervene on different situations, conditions, symptoms, whatever, with movement, but they don't follow through with it. This is me giving you raised eyebrows and a side eye. So, if your doctor had to write you a prescription, would you prefer a prescription for movement or one for medication? Maybe your doctor has actually already prescribed or suggested or encouraged that you get moving and active. And now we're past that because you weren't able to follow through for whatever reason. But that then begs the harder question: are you really ready for the work of alternative non-medication intervention? So if you've gotten a new diagnosis, if you had some sort of body betrayal you may have recently experienced, if you go to the doctor and they say, oh, well, this can be addressed with some movement and changes in your eating and lifestyle habits, are you up for changing those things? How often I hear complaints around arthritis, sciatica, energy, random aches and pains in the body. Pick whatever it is: anxiety, depression, all of these different things. And one of the things that can be prescribed to improve all of these conditions: movement. Now, I can tell you all day and encourage you all day as a counselor, coach, fitness instructor, but if it came from your doctor, would you be more willing or interested in following through with the movement? So, just questions to ask yourself. No right or wrong, and definitely not a judgment, but you should be honest with yourself because it may be, you know what, I'm not. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the energy to do a whole regimen and everything. No, I actually think I do prefer the medication. Okay. All right then. So, if you feel like you are up for doing some work around how your body has betrayed you, then I encourage you to consider medical fitness solutions. Have you ever heard of medical fitness? Has your doctor ever prescribed exercise for you? If so, did you follow through with it? Medical fitness is not just hit your heart rate up 3 cardio sessions a week. No, it's exercise designed for medical needs, chronic conditions, special populations. Let's say that there was maybe an injury or a condition that you were diagnosed with, maybe after your medical treatment or intervention, then maybe there was some physical therapy. Medical fitness would come in that transition post diagnosis, post medical intervention, and post physical therapy as a part of ongoing lifestyle movement to help maintain or to prevent decline and maintain your current state of living. So it's often utilized for cancer patients to recover strength. There are a number of treatment plans for neurological conditions for Parkinson's and other stroke rehab, things of that nature. A lot of programs for women dealing with menopause and perimenopause symptoms. Also, for those aging and those who might be prone to falls with balance, and of course for mental health, dealing with different symptoms maybe around trauma, anxiety, depression, things of that nature. The thing about this is that it's something that you can always tap into. It's not a too late type of thing. It's never too late. You can always get moving and start working on a specific plan and intervention that is appropriate to your particular condition. So, that said, then the question is, where do you actually find these types of services and professionals? And so one of the first places is obviously maybe talking with your doctor. Ask your doctor whether or not there are any medical fitness professionals or referrals or programs or services that they are affiliated with or refer to support and can be a part of the integrative intervention for your particular condition and treatment plan. Also, you can look at national organizations and associations, of course, Medical Fitness Association, MedFit Network, as well as those particular associations associated with your particular condition, Parkinson's, American Cancer. You can likely find some medical fitness provider services networks within those organizations. Looking at the hospitals and rehab centers, I know at one hospital in my area, they have their fitness services for the employees and in general wellness services, but it's also a front facing to open to the public fitness service and program for a wide variety of medical conditions, including cancer, Parkinson's, a number of things. And so you may look at some of your local hospitals and rehab centers to see if they have information and resources on medical fitness services and programs. You may also just consider looking at different medical fitness, physical trainers, personal trainers. At some gyms, some of the personal trainers may also carry certifications and training in medical fitness. So there are probably a variety of ways of doing some searching for these professionals and these types of services. And so this brings me to why I'm building something new as a functional aging group exercise specialist, mouthful. I am looking at providing services for active agers and really anyone who's dealing with balance challenges or those who are simply wanting to maintain independence. There is a myth that you can't teach an old dog new tricks. There is that defeatist attitude that I mentioned earlier, that there's nothing I can do about it. And it's just not that way. You can train your body and your brain at any age. you have the capability to improve your brain function. There was a time when there was the perception that the brain, you got what you got, and once there was maybe some age or damage, that's it, there's no improvement. There's so much more science, and we know that we can build and create new neural pathways in our brain. We just have to exercise it. And so, the same way I encourage people to exercise their bodies, we want to exercise our minds so that we can live and thrive. There is a new core functional living program that you might be interested in. You can check out the link in the show notes. And so this will allow you to sign up and join the early interest list and the founder circle. The name is exactly what it's about. It's about being able to live, being able to function in your daily life and do the things that you need to do, and training around that. If you have questions, of course, you can always email or reach out, and I'll be glad to get you more information. So, as we get ready to wrap up, I do have to, of course, share my little core work moment. I attended a Zumba instructor network conference this summer as part of my continuing education. There were a lot of things there, not just Zumba. One of the trainings that I participated in was a Strong Nation certification, a high intensity tempo interval training, as well as martial arts inspired movement format. And while I was at this training, I'm there with other individuals who are looking to get certified to teach this class and be instructors. And there was one man that I saw, and I ended up doing a double take because he was blind. And I guess I just wasn't expecting it. And I hope I'm not coming across the wrong way, because I know everybody's able to do anything. But I guess I just hadn't had the opportunity to kind of witness it up front, and I wasn't expecting it. So I ended up in the class, and I remember seeing him come join in, and it was just an honor really to be in his presence. He, along with his guides and the other master trainers, were taking him through the movement step by step so he could get it down, so he could become a certified instructor for this particular movement format. And it was just awesome. It was just inspiring. It was awesome. And it was a reminder that there's really no limitation to what you can do if you choose to do it. And so, bringing that back into perspective with everything else that we've been talking about today, and how the body can betray you, and how the body decides to do what it wants to do without talking to you first. Your body may shift, but your potential does not disappear. And it was exemplified by that man. I want to leave that with you and encourage you to be thinking about what it is that you want and what you're willing to commit to. When your body betrays you, what are you ready to do? What work are you ready to put in to make sure you can do the things that you can do? We know negative coping is not the answer. It's okay to grieve. We recognize that that's a normal reaction when the body changes suddenly. But medical fitness gives you options for anybody at any age, at any stage. So check out the show notes to learn more about medical fitness, and sign up for the core functional living early interest or founder circle. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm truly appreciative for your time, and I will see you next time.